Okay, so my buddy Graugger had a really dumb but awesome idea here a couple minutes ago. So he suggested to me that I make a Midas touch missile that pretty much works by not turning everything into gold, but only turning gold or turning ore into gold. And I'm like, yes, that sounds amazing. So I went ahead and coded it up. It took me about 6 minutes to code, and I have yet to test it. So we are going to test it right here, and we're going to see what actually happens, and we're going to see if I break my game because I didn't test anything. We're going to have an issue, though, finding ore because, well, I've been setting off nukes around here for quite a while, and the thermal radiation from the nukes right now destroys ore blocks. It's not intentional, it's just how the process works. So we're going to want to grab ourselves an instant hole here, which is this tool. I actually need to get a texture for this at one point in time. I think we do have a texture for it, I just haven't implemented it. Yeah, you see where all the cobblestone is? That's where ore was once upon a time. That's where the nuke's thermal radiation came through and it screwed up the ore blocks. The plan is, of course, we are working on the last couple dev videos of actually making those show up as their normal blocks, but that hasn't been finished yet. So we're going to try to find a spot where we have ore. Cool, so we got ore here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hit this. And there you go, turns all ore blocks into gold. Now the radius on it is pretty low, as you can tell, it's just kind of pathetic. We're looking at something that, yeah, has less of a radius than a few other things here. So let me actually close this, because that's not what I wanted to pull up at all. I'm going to up the radius on this, and I can't up the radius here, but what I can go over here is to this thing, and I can up the radius by 10 on that, and that should, actually, you know what, that's not going to work either. We'll have to restart the game to do this real quick. So if you can bear in mind with me, I'm going to restart. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this back to 1, because I actually do want the blasts themselves to try to always be as close as possible to 1. But you can come over here and you can turn that to 10. And if we go to ore pull, it's actually set to 20, so we're actually going to turn this up to like... Nah, 10's fine. The reason ore pull is up so high is so you can potentially get advantage from using the ore pull missile, because right now there's no real reason to be using them. They're kind of cost-effective ratio, not very good. This missile isn't part of the troll package of missiles, so you know how you get the cake missile and stuff like that. It is part of those missiles that are designed to antagonize your opponent and not to destroy things. You gotta imagine if you, as the Graugger's suggestion was, imagine somebody having an interquarry that's set up over this huge radius, and they've been mining, say, for like a month in that spot, and they're maybe got another month to go before their queries completely hit the bottom, which is an exaggerated amount, although I have had queries take 10 days to mine to the bottom before. Those are really, really large ones. But imagine somebody had that big query, and they're mining, and they're slowly getting ore in, and you hit that spot with a Midas touch missile, now all of a sudden they're getting gold ore blocks. Now, if you get familiar with the crafting recipes of a lot of stuff, gold ore is not something heavily used in recipes. Usually when you start seeing it, it's because you need like tier 2 microchips, and they just start using gold for whatever reason. I know the reason why they use that. That's not what I mean by that. From a balance point of view, gold just is not useful. There's no real reason to do a lot of things, and there's kind of quite a few errors that just popped in the consoles right there. I need to go back through that and look at that. Those look like the textures for a lot of the explosive blocks. That's okay, those are ignorable. I think those only show up in the dev workspace anyways, but it's been a while since we worked on ICBM Classic. The plan is sometime this week to work on ICBM Classic, but I do have to do a lot more work. Anyways, let's take a look. Continue taking a look at this, and this is of course going to be a short video. I'm just trying to show off this dumb but oddly amusing idea. Well, I'm going to probably make some more of these because it doesn't take me long to code things. People go like, why don't you have more explosives in ICBM? We don't have more explosives simply because I don't want to code more explosives, not because it's actually hard. It's a simple matter of a fact that making more explosive does not make the mod itself more enjoyable. It actually doesn't really modify it too much. If you look at this, like, gold everywhere. Now, it seems to be having an issue with whatever this is. I want to say this is IC2's copper, and it may having trouble IDing this, or it may have just not path found. Yeah, it's probably a pathfinder problem. Maybe? Nah, I just flat out having trouble with IC2 ores. Now I need to make it so that the missile isn't destroyed on impact. That might be useful. It seems to be doing vanilla ores just fine. Because if we go down here and we fire it at some of the ores down here, Now it'll do volts engine ores just fine because volts engine ores are manually detected, but ICT ores don't seem to be detected properly. And the interesting thing is the code is actually designed to do a really quick check if I can find the code. I, some reason, closed it even though I knew I was going to be making a video here in like 2 seconds. So the code is actually designed to detect for all kinds of ore blocks. It does have a whitelist system, so what I ended up doing is just adding the class for IC2's ores to this whitelist, and that'll take care of it by itself. But it's meant to detect if it contains ore in the localization. That may be the problem. They may not actually call their block ore, which could be the complication here. But the only ores that are having problems are, of course, IC2 ores at the moment, and that's seems to be the only one I've seen. I don't have any other ore types in here, so maybe thermal expansion might have problems as well. But these are things we'll take care of later. After all, this missile is meant to just be trolly. It's not meant to be used as an actual weapon. But that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys later.